And if you do that tomorrow, you'll be able to have a look at Salford against Wakefield live at 3 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra. The Super 8s, the qualifiers, are now underway, of course, and the Leigh Centurions are ahead by 24 points to 6 as we prepare to kick this second half off here at the Leigh Sports Village. Better, I'm sure, than Chris Chester dared hope for. Maybe worse than rather the other way around. Better than Paul Rowley could hope for. Worse than Chris Chester would have hoped for, I'm sure.
I can only think Chris Chester's message at half-time, his only job is to find some energy. You know, if you're trying to correct technique and tactic now with an effort and a performance like that, then you're well behind the 8 ball. This is about find some energy. You've got to tap the ball to Leigh with some purpose and get a kicking game in and get at the other end of the field. And you've got to defend with a little bit more vigour and a bit more interest. And for me, Paul Rowley's about composure. You're 24-6 up. You're not going to win this game twice. Don't give them the ball that cheaply and allow them back into the game.
The thing that might just come back to haunt Hull Kingston Rovers today of all days, of course, is the big effort they put in the Challenge Cup semi-final just a week ago.
That was always in the back of my mind, Eddie, when it was coming here. As I said, Leigh Centurions have been building for this game since round 1, when they knew that it was going to be going into the middle 8. They were the team to beat. They're only losing 2 games in 2 years, 2 league games, so they were ready for this, and it was a good time to get Hull KR, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. They won 21, drew 1 of the 23 rounds in the championship, the League Leaders Shield winners. The only defeat coming at London Broncos in June. Last year they only lost 1 as well, but they went on to beat Featherstone in the grand final.
Well, scored 972 points, and when you watch them play, and they play like they did in the first half, they'll back themselves, they keep turning up for each other. They won't change just because they're 24 points in front now. They'll still play exactly the same. They won't just tuck the ball under their arm, get to the kick, defend the next set. They just look to score more tries.
But what they don't do, I think I'm right in saying, is just to put the cue on the rack now. They've got to maintain the momentum of the first half.
What they've got to do, sorry Paul, what they've got to do is keep doing what's got them in front in the first place.
It's a high kick from Ridyard, spiralling all over the place. But CO dealt with it brilliantly. Stepped away from one, couldn't get away from the next man in, who was Tom Armstrong. But here they come now with Horn. He gets the ball away to Dixon. Dixon skinned them. Dixon has skinned them down the right-hand touchline, and Dixon gives Hull Kingston Rovers just the start that they need at the start of this second half. Chris Chester, I'm sure, will have said, go out and let's be the first team to score, and Dixon has obliged. And when this kid gets the ball in his hands, he is electrically quick.
He's as good as anything in any team, in any division. He's absolutely superb. No, I did mention that word composure. You know, a bomb in the air, turned over very cheaply. Andy Dixon misses Graham Horn out wide. And the moment that lands in Kieran Dixon's fingers, it's a try. No one was ever going to be able to compete with him for pace and vision out wide in that situation. You know, Leigh have just switched off. They completed a set. They put an average kick in. The chase was ordinary. It's not what they needed at the start of the second half. Hull Kingston Rovers are well and truly now back in this game.
Well, isn't that great? Kieran Dixon gives his team a lifeline, and as you say, Eddie, they needed to score first in this second half, and Josh Mantellato surely is going to knock another 2 points over here.
You think so, and this will make it 2 converted tries. The deficit, he does with no problem whatsoever. 24 points to 12. Angela Powers, I bet that was top of the page of Chris Chester's half-time script, wasn't it?
Yes, Eddie, exactly what he wanted to see. He did say that there were too many of his players taking shortcuts in that first half, feeling sorry for themselves, he says, and they need to really turn it around in this 40 minutes. They said they've got to look after the ball more, make the most of it when they've got it in hand. They were playing at, the Hull KR were playing, he said, at 60%, where Leigh were playing at 80%. The news on Cocaine was he had a scratch in his eye. He's available to come back on, so we'll keep watching out for him. In terms of Leigh Centurions, the coach was very, very happy with their first half, as you've said, Eddie, and you as well, Terry. He really wanted them to carry on as they were doing. He said there was no intention of changing their playing style for this game, and they're not going to do it now in the second half. They're not going to defend a lead, they're going to attack a lead. And while I'm here, I must point out there's 2 young men behind me who've come from Virginia and LA in America. It's their very first game of rugby league. Ezra and Wyeth, they're sitting here watching this game, and when that McNally try was scored, they were on their feet cheering like mad. They're loving rugby league. Let's just hope that we can spread the word far and wide.
Absolutely. Great to see them from the States. And there was a young man who was at, I think it was the Magic weekend, Ethan from New York. He came up and made himself known to me. And he watches Super League on Sky Sports over in New York. How on earth he does it, I don't know, but he does.
Worldwide sport.
Each and every week. Yes, we're worldwide famous.
Yep. We've got Russia team, American team, teams from all over the world that play. It's a fabulous sport, isn't it? And the conditions are brilliant. Hull KR now, they've scored that try. They need to come up with another quick-fire try. If they do that, that will put doubt in Leigh's mind. Because normally, if Leigh Centurions have been 24 points to 6 up in front in the championship, there's not many teams that believe that they can actually beat them.
In terms of changing game plan and not wanting to change what's got you in this position in the first place, it's not actually a case of that, in my opinion. It's about doing it a bit better. Don't allow Hull Kingston Rovers in the game. You know, we've got friends from afar coming to watch this. They're just about to see a side get put in the place if they keep giving the ball away. They got away with it on that occasion.
Yes, they did. If that ball had gone into Mantelato's arms rather than his bootlaces, this was a certain try.
It was definitely on, wasn't it? It was just a pass dipping. If that goes a touch higher and it's a straight catch for Mantelato, that's a try. It's an opportunity gonna miss.
I wonder if that will be seen to be the big switch in this second half. I must say, when Leigh started their opening set of 6 in this second half, they seemed a little bit
lethargic.
Lethargic. I was going to say lackadaisical. Lethargic's a better word, yes.
Lethargic were they just believed that they were in front, but still, as I say, it's those little things that you've got to keep doing. That your half-time, you go in a changing room, you're all hot, you're all bothered, you want to get back out there, but you just got to keep making sure that you're switched on. You're switched on, because as soon as the game starts again in the second half, you've got to hit top speed.
Well, they looked like they were 24-6 up at half-time. It was an incomplete set for me. They did get from tackle 1 to tackle 5, and then they kicked the ball, which was reasonable, and didn't chase, didn't put any pressure on, didn't push up on a short side. You know, these wobbles and bobbles with the ball now. They've just got to get some composure in the ranks from the Leigh Centurions.
Ryan Brearley got away with that fumble, and that's why this tackle count is continuing. We're at the last tackle here, and Andrew Dixon is caught in possession by a tackle from Graham Horn, and that's not on Paul Rowley's script, I'm sure.
No, but it's still not a bad place to turn the ball over. You turned it over in the corner, you're just 15 metres from the opposition line. It wasn't an attacking kick that Paul Rowley would have wanted, but it's still not bad field position to hand that ball over.
Well, here he comes again. Mantelato. As I say, had that ball gone into the breadbasket, it would have been a try for all money. Kevin Laroya now, the French international, surrounded by red and white jerseys, pushes them off, plays the ball there to Aaron Ollett. He gives it to Graham Horn.
Forward movement, James! Wait!
Horn turned over on his back. No, it wasn't Horn, beg your pardon. It was Greenwood. Greenwood who played the ball. And was that what happened about that? That was a dive, says Ben Thaler. And from Maurice Blair, the ball is down the middle. This will stand on this lush turf, I think. Or will it? No, it just skips its way dead.
Well, he wears his hat on his sleeve, doesn't he, James Donaldson? Not the biggest of back rowers, but he's certainly committed every time he tackles or takes the ball forward. Too much on that kick. If I was a Hull KR player now and would have looked at that Mantelato effort as we see the high tackle, so they were looking not to get the penalty there. Would you look at that opportunity where Mantelato drops the ball as a wasted opportunity, or is it a chance and really a sign of creating space?
Great offload from Oliver Wilkes to McNally. There's Ridyard. He gets it wide to Dixon and further wide, and the ball is picked up behind him by Liam Kane. He got clattered for his pains. He's not happy with that. Neither are the Leigh supporters. But they're coming through. That's a little bit too deep. Mantelato will pick this up behind his line now. That was high too. The referee has let one or two of these go.
Well, a bit scratch your head on that, kicking on the third play.
Well, they just, again, I'll reiterate, they just look like they've lost a little bit of composure. I think Leigh are very lucky not to be defending their old try line at this point, because if that's not a penalty for the contact with the head of Donaldson previously, and that other tackle then on try line clearance, I don't know what is. It doesn't matter whether he's dipping down, you can't make contact with his head.
Wellham takes it forward for Hull KR, trailing by 12 points. It was 24-6 though at half-time. Laroya down this left-hand channel, looking to get the arms free, can't do so. They've reached the 5th tackle here. And so Ollett Gives it to Blair. It goes high off the boot of Blair again. What's the chase like? It's not bad. Ollert's following up. And he tackled him, or was he offside? I thought he tackled him in the air, but the referee said he's offside. Maurice Blair's kick, and Ollett was in front of the kicker.
Well, it could have been either or, couldn't it? The ball goes up, Ollett's chasing, you can see he's looking at the ball, and as soon as the ball comes down into McNally's hands, as he's going down, he was still taking in the earth.
No-brainer from the referee. Right on both, was offside and did make contact whilst in the air. A breather for the Leigh Centurions. I just hope for their sake they use this now, find some composure, and start going back to what got them into this lead in the first place, and that's managing the ball.
Wait here, boys, wait here! Go.
So Hyam will restart, and he gives it to Tommy Goulden. Tommy Goulden, sixth season at Leigh. He's been around the place, but 10 years as a pro. Started pretty late after coming from the amateur ranks. Went on the 2004 amateur tour to Australia. Barlow to Ridyard, quick hands again. Liam Kay puts it down. Armstrong's hands were a little bit too quick, perhaps.
Well, there's a couple of mistakes now creeping into Leigh's game. I said the earlier set where they kicked on the third, there was nobody chasing up, easy for Hull KR to take, and then this mistake, again looking to create space on the edge from Armstrong. The ball goes forward anyway, and then you got the knock-on from Kate.
Scrappy first 11 minutes of the second half for the Leigh Centurions.
Yeah, they've not been building enough pressure. We talked about how good they were when they were going into contact. They were offloading the ball, they were sucking those big Hull KR players in, they were looking to find space on the edge. They're not doing any of that in this second half.
I don't think you need to change your game plan, Tez. I just think you need to do it better. Just play with a little bit more composure. You know, that was an 80-20. It was forward, it was going down. There was no need to throw that play. Take the tackle or deliver a better pass. It's your choice.
Wellham is tackled by Hickson. It's a good ball by Maurice Blair. Here is Laroya. Turns the ball inside to Adam Walker once again.
Three, move! Tommy! Go!
And now it's with Blair, and he finds Chisholm. Ooh, that's not a good ball from the Australian. That's high, though. That's high from Mantellato, surely.
No, it's wasted opportunity again. Both sides are guilty in this second half. I know the conditions are warm and the players are going to be feeling it, but just 10 minutes into the second half, whether that ball, when Chisholm offloaded it, thought that it was going to be going to McCarthy. Good ball.
What a great offload that was from Hopkins. Here is McNally. And scrambling defence from Wellham brings him down with help from Laroya, but they are so close to the line. Wellham's in the ruck. The referee has to give a penalty.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Go into contact, offload the ball. That's when Leigh look at the best. And Sam Hopkins, he just hits the line, defensive line, really hard, gets him going backwards, and then offloads the pass. As soon as he does that, it gets a decent field position. Hull KR are all scrambling to give the penalty away.
Well, Wellham, lying in the ruck, has offered the opportunity here for Ridyard to go for goal. That's the decision they've taken. But that ball from Hopkins was brilliant.
It is just play through the line.
Scrambling defence was good, and then just get away from him. Well, he does his best, Wellham, to be fair.
But what he's
strapped.
Sorry, Eddie. What he's trying to do is, because they played through the line, because Hopkins got that ball away, McNally went through. What Chris Wellham's trying to do is slow that play the ball down and let his teammates get back.
2 more points for Ridyard and Leigh. 26-12. It means once again that Hull KR have to score 3 times. Great offload.
It is, and I don't assess that as taking a risk. His arm's free, he's got good control of the ball. You know, if that would have been another man in the tackle and he's flicked it through its legs, there's my issue. That was clear. Make the pass because you've earned it.
And they earned the right to take a shot at goal, and Ridyard obliged. So Mantellato restarts. McNally is underneath the kick. Barlow will run it forward again for the Centurions. Maybe that penalty goal would just settle them down a bit.
Yeah, it is, and I've just heard Mickey Hyam saying, let's complete this set of 6. Let's not make a mistake. Let's get to the kick.
Oh,
here we
Hyam
go.
is taking it by the scruff of the neck himself. Great break from Hyam. Couldn't get the ball away. Good defence, actually. Very good defence from Dixon.
Well, he saved a couple of tries, Dixon, in this game, hasn't he?
Oh, bobbly ball to Ridyard. And it allowed the defenders to move forward.
Well, you can't switch off Hyam and Dixon. Good contact, wraps up that ball.
Oliver Wilkes takes it forward now for Leigh.
4. Move, Graham.
Hull KR once again on the back foot.
Ready, boys. Go.
Hyam goes down the short side. It's Dixon. Dixon
5.
pulled down by Chisholm and by Tyrone McCarthy. Hyam finds Ridyard. Ridyard slides a kick in. Oh, and it's bouncing everywhere, and it goes off a Hull Kingston Rovers player, Leroy or Dixon, was it? And over the line.
Well, isn't that a good set of 6?
Exactly what the doctor ordered from the Leigh Centurions. Forcing pressure, panic in the ranks behind the try line. No, Mickey Hyam, I've got no issues about Mickey Hyam not making that play, not making that pass. If you loose at the ruck, he's going to get you, and he did. Brilliant break. For whatever reason, he couldn't get the pass in, so he held. So it allows them, the Leigh Centurions, to win the next play. Look at that, brilliant movement. For whatever reason, he can't get that in. He holds it.
That was the right
get him
decision.
on the next play.
That was the right decision.
Absolutely the right decision. Don't risk it when there's no need to.
But a terrific defensive effort from Kieran Dixon as well. This is Hopkins again for Leigh as they come forward on the back of that goal line dropout. Wilkes trying to get through Adam Walker, and Sean Lunt is back out there now.
Well, this is good field position and building a bit of pressure as well here now. Look at the red shirts flowing forward.
McNally has seen a gap. Wellham's on his back. Another important tackle from Chris Wellham. Always hanging on again to the grounded player. He's allowed to play on though. Briley in centre field. He gives it to Ridyard. He just dummied the pass. It almost found its way to Andrew Dixon. Takes the tackle instead. Here's Hyam. Hyam attacking the line.
5, Mickey, play your ball.
They'll do well here, Hull KR, to hold out. They look out on the feet.
And Barlow has gone close, but I think he's short.
Yeah, look.
Oh, he's held up anyway.
Yeah, well, Mickey Hyam was the man who went in the previous tackle, so there was no hooker behind the play of the ball. So Sam Barlow took it upon himself to run that ball on the last play. And they had numbers out on the right side here on Higson's wing.
Look where they turned it over, right on the Hull KR line.
And the difficult carries these, Eddie. So you know now you're behind on the scoreboard, you've got the opposition firing in, and when you've got the likes of Oliver Wilkes and Hopkins, Golden, Gareth Hock, do you know they're lonely carries? These are lonely carries.
Brave one from Mantellato again. Oh, this is manna from heaven for Hull KR. Hands in at the ruck.
Of course it is what you're doing. Do you know, you have them where you want them. You can see the Hull KR players looking round for, go on son, do your best, just take us forward. And then you give the penalty away and you relieve all that pressure.
It's a response, Terry. It's a reaction, isn't it? That when you've lost contact, you panic and scramble and go back on, or you're not in a perfect position, so you nudge your way around the play of the ball. That's a lack of composure.
Well, they won't be arguing about that, Hull Kingston Rovers, as Adam Walker takes this ball forward for them. His brother John moved to Leigh last year from Rovers. They were both at the KC Lightstream Stadium together. Adam stayed on, John came over here. Lunt, good ball from Lunt into centre field to Walker again. Great pass from him. Here comes Leroy. They've got men out wide. Wellham is one of them. Oh, Wellham's backed himself. Dabs it down the line. McNally is there, and Wellham, he can't force him over the try line, so they'll play on from there with Leigh.
Well, he does well to get that ball, McNally, but Walker and Lunt, since they've come back onto the pitch, they've really lifted Hull KR's spirits. The offload from Walker, the running game from dummy half from Sean Lunt. They need that spark as Leigh look to shift it here.
Well, oh dear me, that was not on for Armstrong. It was forward anyway, and it finds its way over the sideline. That was a touch of panic, really.
Should I say composure one more time?
Can you spell it, Paul? Can you spell it?
Well, I think I've got a greater understanding than some of the Leigh players at the moment. You know, they're winning this game. They're winning the game comfortably in the first half. And you can see the gap. I get that. I see where the shape is out wide. But unless you've got the quality to deliver that ball, do a Mickey Hyam. He's been there, he's done it. Keep hold of the ball, you'll get him on the next play.
Paul, but do you know what? 9 times out of 10 they do deliver that pass. When we've looked at Leigh, when they've turned over Super League opposition, when they've been playing in the Championship, they normally deliver that pass. You can't change the way that they play. I know it frustrates you, you can't though.
Dixon here, looking to punish that mistake. Wellham gives it to Kevin Laroya. They're hanging back in defence, Leigh. They didn't move up. Leroy, though, is halted just 3 metres short of the target. He'll get up eventually, play the ball to Sean Lunt. And Lunt gives it a bit of width and finds Chisholm. Chisholm then to big Tony Pullatua. Leigh scrambling now, trying to keep them out. Another try here, and the fat would be in the fire for Rovers. And it's with Blair, and he speeds it wide. Here's Wellham. Can he get it wide? Can he get the ball wide to Mantellato? No, he can't because of that defence.
Good read from Hickson, the man who's down injured. He served a certain try.
I'd suggest it might be a clash of heads.
Because that was definitely going to go in then. If he didn't come in and cut that play down, it's a certain try for Hull KR.
Well, there's been a nasty clash of heads here, I think.
Well, as he's going down, Hickson, does he get one from one of his teammates?
I think it's a clash of heads.
I think, is it Golden who comes in?
Knee?
Yeah, I think it's Golden's knee. When he comes in, he just makes contact with his own player.
He made contact with Chris Wellham as well, did Tommy Golden.
Yeah, he plays the game full on.
Well, they've scrambled well and they literally put the bodies on the lines, don't they? Goodness me, look at that. The neck's bent. No malicious element to it. You're just in an awkward position. And you're right, Golden comes in and takes everybody out.
You're happy with that Golden challenge?
Yeah.
Because he's
very
close to the head.
Yeah, it wasn't a crusher tackle. There was no...
I mean, the swinging arm.
Yeah. There was nothing intended from Golden. He just, look at him, when he comes in here, he's just looking to hit, he's looking to wrap up. Like, Wellham's bending down, so he's just looking to get a good tackle in and prevent him from offloading the ball.
He can improve that. He can, he can keep that swinging arm out. He can go in with a lead shoulder. In another position that he may give away, a ridiculous penalty because he's made no contact with the swinging arm. I do take your point, Ted. He's trying to wrap it up. It just looked clumsy.
Do you know, and if he doesn't swing his arm, he could be challenged for a shoulder charge, Eddie. So he's got to look as though he's trying to get his arm around, and there was nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
9 years ago, Hull KR last visited Leigh. They were over at the old Hilton Park ground. Rovers were beaten 36 points to 10. They'd lost a cup semi-final the previous week, 50-0 to St Helens, and had to play York in midweek. But they'd beaten Leigh 30 points to 6 at home that season. It was quite a year for the club. They went on, of course, that year did the Robins to win promotion to the Super League, but they have not relinquished since, and Chris Chester knows how important this middle-eights qualifiers campaign is to them retaining their place in the elite. Time's back on. The players look as though they've recovered. Walker will drive it in once again for Rovers. They've reached the fifth tackle, so here's the last. What's Lunt got in the locker here? He gives it to Chisholm. Chisholm slides the kick in. Well, Graham Horne was chasing, but just wasn't there in quick enough time.
Well, it's a well-weighted kick, isn't it, from Chisholm?
His presence, though, has forced the goal line dropout.
Yep. Well, when he drops it onto the boot, the player's pushing up. It's Graham Horne who just puts pressure on McNally, who doesn't take any chances.
The difference, of course, is that Hull Kingston Rovers are playing without their first choice 6 and 7 in Campese and Kelly, so it's always going to be difficult to get your shape and your structure and your timing right when that half-back position changes. It hasn't changed that much. Campese was out a long time ago, but Kelly has took over and literally managed that situation. So your guys are running off different half-backs. Leigh don't want to invite that too often. At some point, it's going to click for them. They're too good aside, too much quality. As we now see.
There we are. Maurice Blair has cut through them, and Maurice Blair will touch down, and this will give Hull Kingston Rovers hope. This will give Hull Kingston Rovers hope. Maurice Blair, a try against Wigan in the Cup here in May. Playing in the halves today. Second row, of course, for much of this season because of the Campese-Kelly link. But Maurice Blair has come up with an important 4 points here for Hull KR as we hit the final quarter of this match. Will Super League fitness tell? Two full-time teams, but will Super League fitness and the pace they play week on week tell?
Well, could it be the class as well? Because Maurice Blair, he's just picked out Tommy Golden. I think it was the number 12. You can see him there. As soon as he gets that ball, he tucks it under the wing. He's not going to pass that ball. He was always going to take on the defensive line. Tommy Golden needed to be aware of that. When Worthington's gone up, he's gone up far too quickly for Tommy Golden and just created that space.
You're right, sir. It looked like they were waiting for another play. They were expecting that to go through 2 or 3 pairs of hands. They pushed up wide, out wide. And unfortunately, when you do that, if you're inside, don't lock up, you leave a gap. And Hull Kingston Rovers sail through it.
Well, he's got all the quality of Super League and 100 NRL appearances as well. Has Maurice Blair, and that just flicked in off the upright for Mantellato. He breathes a big sigh of relief. They are back in this with a vengeance, the Rovers.
Well, it's a tale of two halves, isn't it? Because all the energy seems to be with Hull KR at present. Some of the Leigh players are defending on the heels. They're not getting off the line. There's not as much whacking the tackles. And Paul Rowley now knows that they're in a ball game. He knows that they're going to be challenged. And can they dig their way out of it? Fufu Moimoi's on as well here.
I'll go back to the first set of 6 in this second half. Hull KR looked on the top of their toes. Leigh looked a little bit relaxed, a little bit too relaxed.
Well, I did say Chris Chester's biggest job at half-time was finding some energy. Maybe he's found that, as Angela said, by challenging his players. You know, is that good enough? I don't think so. What are you going to do about it? It could be as simple as that. You know, Hull Kingston Rovers have not got to the Challenge Cup final because they're a poor team. They've knocked some big guns out the way. They can play. Leigh are in danger at the moment of inviting a fight that they don't really need or didn't need when they were 24-6 up.
Well, it's been a great second half fight back from Rovers, and here is Sean Lunt. Sean Lunt, who's played in Challenge Cup finals before, who's played in grand finals before. He knows what it takes. Maurice Blair with the left-footed kick into open space. This will stay within the field of play. This will turn them around. This will mean there is work to be done from one end of the field to the other. Kay gets the ball wide once again. Here goes McNally, and he is scragged to the floor by Donaldson.
Well, they do everything right, Hull KR, then they kick long, they find the ground. The chase is really good in the middle of the park, but on the edge they just seem to switch off.
Yeah, they're two completely different styles, aren't they? Hull KR now are kick and chase and complete. They know they've not got that creativity at 6 and 7 and at 1 with a link play to trouble Leigh. Leigh, you're quite right, Tess, are pushing the ball, and McNally did very well then to keep hold of the ball on that break.
Big Fui takes it forward. There's a brave challenge required, and it came in from Donaldson. Here is Brierley, Gareth Hock. Gareth Hock with knees and elbows all over the shop. Pulled down by Pulatua. Now it's with Ridyard, and that's a knock on, or is it? I think it was. It bounced off the Rovers player.
Yeah, it's a knock on. I think it was Armstrong who knocks the ball forward. The pass from Martin Ridyard. He finds Armstrong, who gets outside of Chisholm, and Kay was there holding decent shape on the edge, but the ball goes forward here.
Yes, it does, and once it goes forward and hits the opposition player, it is a knock-on. So Rovers will try and get now from one end of the field to the other. The time is the enemy as well for them. They've just got exactly 16 minutes remaining. Catalan and Saints follows this. 4:55, Sky Sports 3 press the red buttons to find the Dragons against the Saints.
Well, our Hull KR just happy with playing set-for-set rugby against Leigh Centurions and thinking that we will get some field position, we will score some tries. Or do they look, there's a high shot here on Mantellato.
Oh, this'll give them 20, 30 metres downfield.
Yeah, he doesn't miss Gareth Hock here. Swinging arm. Oof. Nicky Hyam. Well, at first I thought it looked a lot worse. It's not. He doesn't really follow through with it.
Well, Josh Mantellato is about 6'4", I believe. There's a lot under his chin. And, you know, composure and Gareth Hock are not usually used in the same sentence. But that's my point. Leigh had this game at 24-6. They've left far too much in the dressing room at half-time. And I said this the other way around in the first half. If Leigh don't understand at the moment they're in a fight and a game, well, they better do quickly, because Hull KR are gaining momentum and confidence.
Lund gets the pass away. Here comes Tyrone McCarthy. Mediterranean sunshine here in Leigh. Apparently it's hosing down in the south of France. Adam Walker gets it away to Tony Pulatua. And Tony Pulatua struggling to get to the line. He nearly snaked the arm out. The man on the top of him prevented him from doing that. Sean Lunt for Rovers goes himself. He scored the match winner against Warrington last week. He's held up and short. Maurice Blair is looking, oh, they're going to get the penalty. They've had 3 penalties on the row now, have Hull KR.
And that's not a penalty to give away on the 4th tackle, is it? So close to your line.
Yeah, but you're in the ruck.
Trying to get up, and you can see McNally's not moved away from the ruck. Sean Lunt gets up, he knows that he needs to play that ball as quick as he can. Makes it look a bit sloppy, and then he gives Ben Fairley the reason for giving this penalty away.
Actually, he's injured McNally, isn't he?
He stuck his hand on the ball, Eddie, as Lunt's trying to put his hand down on the floor with the ball in hand.
He's telling the referee to stop the clock. He's injured.
Well, if we have a little look here, when Sean Lunt goes through, McNally's left on the ground, but as he's getting up, Sean Lunt, he just reaches out with his hand and touches the ball.
Well, one thing I've learnt in rugby league, there's no sympathy. Greg McNally's been limping now for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll tell you one thing, no one from Hulkingston Rovers cares. And where Gareth Hock is swinging his arm round someone's neck, he doesn't quite understand how much pressure he's putting on his line and other injured players further down the line.
Well, this is a big set coming up for Hull KR here. Look where they are after the first tackle, right underneath those Leigh posts again. It is now with Dane Chisholm. Chisholm then gets it away to Dixon. Dixon looking to get them on the outside again.
Come here.
And the referee is wanting a word with Gareth Hock. Surprise, surprise.
What are you doing here?
Pushing him away.
No. Right, no, listen to me. No, I ain't bothered about that. He needs calming down. Right,
well, how many times have we heard the referee say that
all over the shop.
about Gareth
There's no
Hock
need
during his career?
To come in there and just barge into the man who's playing the ball. Do me a favour, Mick, don't just look at him, go have a word with him or that's all.
Well, what Gareth Hock was saying to the referee, I was trying to push him out the way so I could get to the man who's carrying the ball. Hey, this is what he does. And he comes and just pushes Walker, but you can see what Gareth Hock's saying. Yeah, you can see what Gareth Hock's saying. But I don't think he needed to come in and do that.
Well, it's another penalty he's conceded.
Yeah.
Well, this will be a real reward if Leigh managed to hold out here, and Maurice Blair is looking to attack them down the middle once again. Good job that Hyam got there. Sean Lunt comes this way now, gives it to Pulatua! Pulatua scores! Pulatua scores on the back of 4 penalties, or has he?
I'm going to try. Just double check, make sure it don't bounce out.
He wants the grounding checking, that's all. It looked okay from up here.
Do you know, you talk about composure in the game, but what about this from Pulatua? He puts the ball out in front of him, but as soon as he does that, and before he does that, he's got to ride over those Leigh players. There's no problem here.
I think this will be given the green light. Try is given to Tony Pulatua, and would you believe that is his first try for Hull Kingston Rovers. First try for him in the qualifiers, obviously. First try since his move from Salford. What a time to score it, because if Montelato kicks this, and I bet your life he will, we'll be all square.
Well, just have a little look what he does here, Pulatua. When he gets the ball, he's known for his offloading game and what he does when he carries the ball. But as he gets the ball, look, he rides over Gareth Hock, keeps control of that ball. He's got good grip on it, and he knows exactly what he's got to do. He doesn't panic. He knows if he can get away with a couple of Leigh defenders, he's got control enough to score that try.
Check what I just said. They won't be all square. They'll be within 2 points. And Montelato adds the extras. It's 26-24. The penalty goal from Martin Ridyard in this second half separates the two sides. And there's a massive finish on the way here.
Tony Pulatua credited with this fantastic try. 2 or 3 bodies in, wrestled around, aided and abetted, I have to say, by Gareth Hock. 2 consecutive penalties, 1 on the 40-metre line, 1 on his try line. And now a player like Tony Pulatua, been world-class, has scored and played in great games in great sides all over the world, and you're inviting him to your try line to barge himself over.
Eddie, we've talked about who's missing for Hull KR in Campese and in Kelly. Well, Mitch Allgood's back next week, so they've gone from having not many prop forwards or just having 1 prop forward to having 6.
Here's another penalty that's gone against Leigh.
Well, they need to get control of this game now. It's just not been good enough. You can't invite the opposition, and it's Worthington strips that ball. They've given away some really easy penalties, cheap penalties close to Hull KR's line. It's so much easier when you're a ball carrier like Leroy here.
Penalty count in the first half was 6-1 to Leigh. Second half, 6-2 to Hull KR, who are in possession here with Tony Pulatua. Fui Moi went for him.
And we've still got 12 minutes to go in this game as well.
Yes. The biggest 12 minutes of Leigh's season, the biggest 12 minutes of Hull Kingston Rovers' season in many ways. A flying start in these middle 8 qualifiers, so vital. And don't forget that after this, Rovers have got 4 home games to come, and they've been pretty good at home this year.
It is, and I know you need the performance, but you need to pick up the points as well. But I'm sure Chris Chester, if they come away with 2 points from this game, after last week's semi, it's mission accomplished, isn't it?
Very much so. But Leigh had this match in their pockets at half-time. 24-6 up. Nice little dab through, very well watched by McNally and Wellham. They're claiming that was a bit high.
And that could have been a penalty going over the top. Chris Wellham on McNally. They've done everything right. They're just looking a bit tired now, Leigh Centurions, and that's because of the ill discipline, giving those penalties away. Looking to earn a penalty there, Adam Higson.
He wasn't as smart as Greg McNally in the first half when he milked a penalty exceptionally well. You're right, Terry, he tried his hardest to get that one.
That was a good carry by Jake Emmett. This is a good carry by Fui Moi Moi, but met and slugged out toe for toe by this Hull KR defence. Entering the last 10 minutes of the match shortly. And a big kick downfield, a big hit and hope from Ridyard, and Dixon is underneath it. He's got 40 metres ahead of him before there's a red jersey. He picks up pace, does Dixon, goes straight at Worthington.
Do you know there was not much space as well? Hull KR dropped both wingers back, Dixon back as well. So Leigh Centurions know that they've got to find a bit of space. They want to turn Hull KR around, test to the forwards. Who's going to get back? Who's going to carry the ball forward?
Kensio does it right now for Hull KR. They're at the halfway line. They've had 3 tackles, 3 remaining.
Terry, I think in the first half, on that play when the wingers and fullbacks are so deep, Leigh may have chanced their arm and, as you've rightly said, pushed the play and gone out wide. That was an opportunity to do it, not that I'm advocating it. First half they were doing it. They've wasted so much energy now with the cheap penalties and try-line D. It's just took that edge off them.
Well, that was a challenge on CO. Oh, and they found space here. Pulitua puts the ball on his foot. And fortunately for Leigh, oh, to knock on. They forced a knock on. They forced a knock on from Worthington, from Greg Worthington. And this could be the pivotal moment of the match.
Well, the heads are down. Tony Pulitua, not known for his kicking game or his straight, hard running game and his offload. He kicks that ball forward, Worthington gets on it, but it's the effort from Chris Wellham, who doesn't give up. And just have a little look what it means to Leroy. Tyrone McCarthy in there congratulating. That's the team spirit. And if you're a Leigh player now and you're looking up and you're seeing the opposition celebrate like that, you're a bit nervous.
Remember, Leigh not only defending this 24-6 half-time lead that they had, they're also defending an unbeaten home record on this ground for almost 2 years. Nobody has gone home with the bacon from this place.
Well, before he lost that ball, Eddie, before he lost that ball, Worthington's been struggling at the back of play with, you know, he's limped, he's picking up some kind of injury. Leigh are playing Russian roulette. Game done at half-time, 24-6, and they have welcomed Hull Kingston Rovers back into this game.
And here is Wellham. They flew out of the line then in the shape of Higson to bring him down. Good defence from Adam Higson. Wellham will get to his feet. Plays the ball to Dixon. Dixon then into Pulitua. And Pulitua goes underneath those sticks again. The referee shouts held. He'll put the ball on the ground. Plays it to Sean Lunt. And Lunt short pass. There's a right scramble. Is it Laroya who has hold of it there? He's got it down. It isn't Sean Lunt again, is it? Or is it Laroya? It's Sean Lunt. They've got a try for Sean Lunt. He won the semi-final against Warrington last week. With his last gasp effort, has he come up with a try that will beat Leigh in this middle 8 qualifier?
Well, it's just those little efforts, isn't it? And you could see by the way that they were celebrating. When Wellham made the tackle, they made the mistake. Here's the offload from McCarthy. It's a clean offload. There's no knock-on. There's absolutely no problem. Gareth Hock does all he can. See Mickey Hyam doing all that he can to try and prevent Lunt from getting the ball down.
The ball is down underneath Mickey Hyam.
Yeah.
But is there an arm on it from Hull KR and Sean Lunt?
Well, you'd say that there was, the way that Lunt gets up and celebrates. I'd like to see that from another angle. Here we have it. There's the offload now. Lunt's got hold of the ball now. Still pushing forward, gets rid of a couple of players. He's got his left arm on the ball.
And Walker's celebrating behind him.
Yeah, and McCarthy as well, the man who passes the ball, Tyrone McCarthy, the number 13 for Hull KR. Does he do enough to get his side back in? I think he does, from the reaction of the players of Walker, McCarthy.
He's waiting for the word, he's waiting for the word. The try is given. Sean Lunt has done it again. Second week in a row. It's not the winning try yet. It might be. It was the winning try last week.
Well, it's amazing how things can change so quickly from being behind on the scoreboard at half-time, nobody giving them a chance when you're up against Leigh Centurions, who are playing at home with that fantastic record. Well, this Hull KR side, the confidence that they've got from defeating Warrington last week, and again, it's just another one of those committed runs from the captain in Tyrone McCarthy. He's doing everything, he spins out the tackle, he gets his arm free, and Sean Lunt, like all good hookers, you keep on pushing up, you keep on supporting, and there he is, he salutes the crowd, and that's got them in front, and there's the despair for the Leigh fans.
Well, it's not despair just yet, but they are disappointed that they've surrendered the lead. There's still 7 minutes to go after this kick. Montelato adds the extras. 7 minutes for Leigh to get the Middle Eight qualifying campaign off to a flying start, but also to defend a 30-game unbeaten run on this ground.
Well, Hull Kingston Rovers have found that fighting spirit. They found the energy I thought they needed at half-time. McCarthy fighting in the tackle. Me and Terry were arguing off screen, Eddie, at one point. There were gaps out wide and Hull KR weren't going for him. There wasn't a massive hole there.
Out on the fall from Leigh. Sorry, Paul.
Well,
it was a discussion, Paul.
It was a discussion. No, you're too big for me, Tez. And there were gaps everywhere. And Hull Kingston Rovers created their own. That power from McCarthy and Lunt powering over and squirming underneath. And they're only there because of the penalties, in my opinion, that Leigh are giving way. You've got to credit them for getting to that play in that time. But Leigh have allowed Hull Kingston Rovers back into this game when at one point they looked absolutely out on the feet.
Interesting decision from Tyrone McCarthy there. He decided not to allow Josh Montelato to have a shot at goal from halfway. I think he could have got that.
Yep. Yeah, well, Montelato was asking the question, do you want me to go for it? But just look at the second half. It's 24 points to 2 in favour of Hull KR. They've not scored in this half. Leigh Centurions.
Not scored a try.
No, not scored a try in this second half. Sorry, Eddie.
Well, he's backed himself and his team to keep hold of the ball. He took it right off the tap set. You're in the right end of the field, and you don't quite know how Leigh are going to manage this pressure now. There's a few bus bodies out there.
McCarthy again, turning his back on the defenders. They've reached the last tackle here. Oh, and McCarthy is hurt. He'll take his time to get to his feet. Referee calls time off.
Well, McCarthy's hurt. Gareth Hock's hurt as well for Leigh. Just hobbled back. Looks like he's got a dead leg. Tyrone McCarthy here. He gets a whack in the face from Mickey Mahayam, an ex-teammate of Warrington Wolves. Maybe just checking his nose. Is he okay? His looks are okay. The Irish international Sam Barlow just takes a drink. As you said, Eddie, there's some busted bodies, isn't there, out there? Two very committed sides who've really turned up to play this afternoon.
Chisholm with a kick to the in-goal area, and that's great play. That's tremendous play from Rovers. That's Super League experience for you. Good chase from Graham Horne as well.
Well, he's come up with a couple of plays and a couple of kicks in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Chisholm. When he goes at the line, he pulls the defenders up, nobody's there, and Kay drops in that pocket at the back. But the push, the chase from Graham Horne.
For me, Hull Kingston Rovers have done one thing exceptionally well in this game, and that's understand what they can't do. They're not throwing it about. Those quality halfbacks just aren't on the field, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to the guys who are playing 6 and 7. They know what they can do, they know what they can't do, and they're sticking at that game. It is a grind, it is kick, chase and completion, but they have slowly, well and truly, ground Leigh down.
Is there a final twist in the tail in this, the opening match of the Middle Eight qualifiers? Lunt to Chisholm to Graham Horne. Oh,
yeah, well,
that's
there's
a voluntary tackle.
No, what it is, because he was running behind his player, and it would have been an obstruction. No, he gives himself up. So if he gives himself up, that's not classed as an obstruction, Eddie.
Did he shout Barley's?
No, that's why he goes down. See, look, when he gets the ball, he runs behind his player, so he more or less gives himself up. Yep, I won't commit, I won't carry on with the run. Eddie, that's just the rules. I do apologise.
Looks very strange.
That was the most gentlemanly conduct I've ever seen in a game of rugby league, that.
And I can't believe he knows the rules. Chisholm slides the kick in again. And another set of 6 coming for Rovers.
And again, field position, possession, build that pressure. Just keep turning the screw, just a 4-point lead. But if you're playing the game down this end of the park and you've got the ball, well, Leigh Centurions can't score.
Chisholm has kicked well in the last 10 minutes.
Been very good. He's been kicking on the front foot. There's been no pressure on him. It was a lot different in the first half when there was pressure applied to both him and to Blur.
Excellent game management. Two young coaches really working their ways and systems into the game, and Chris Chester has worked some magic at half-time. 24-6 is enough to beat any side.
Here's a big turnover. There's a big turnover. It was a free play anyway, I think. The referee allowing them to go on with it. Ben Cockayne has it. And he's telling Ben Cockayne to put the ball down, and then he'll go to the video referee to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you, Eddie. I think this was a free play. So there was a mistake from Kay.
A one-on-one ball steal. That's something we need to look at. Well, I've gone ball steal. Right, time off.
Now then, he's given ball steal in the original tackle, so he's going to give this as a try, I think.
I'm going try.
Try on the field.
Because I've got a one-on-one ball steal, so can we go back to the ball steal, please? So it's ball steal against OKR.
Well, he's backed himself Ben Fairley here, hasn't he?
He has, and Ben Cockayne gave himself up, by the way.
Well, he thinks it's a one-on-one steal. Is there any hand on the man?
Yes, there is. That's Jake Emmett who's stolen that.
Well, Jake Emmett at the bottom. Dixon comes on over the top. So Dixon, the number 22, you can see Emmett, number 29. He strips the ball. Have a little look if number 22 touches McCarthy as he's about to get that ball stripped. There's nothing on, nothing on.
Now he's touching him.
Yeah, now he's touching him.
So that could be a penalty to LKR anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's sufficient to be a one-on-one tackle. You're right, it's a fraction. I don't know whether it makes that much difference. It's how the ball comes out and gets back into play.
Off the feet. Armstrong, it's play on at this stage according to Ben Thaler. The pass then to Kay.
Does Kay lose the ball then? When he's tackled, no, it's played by
Graham, do you think
Graham Horn.
by Graham Horn?
Well, Graham Horn's hand has come off, has made a play at the ball, whether it was intentional or not.
Who would be a video referee?
Do you know, it's, in my opinion, this isn't a try because the ball comes off Graham Horn anyway. So as he's going into tackle here, number 12 in the white shirt, he knocks the ball forward, and because he's knocked the ball forward and one of his teammates has picked the ball up, it wasn't a straight knock-on from Liam Kay.
Ben Thaler has given a try on the field, though.
But I think there's sufficient evidence there to say that that's been knocked out.
Yeah.
The left hand has forced the ball free. It was a loose carry, to be fair, one hand in that kind of position, but there you are. A loose hand from Graham Horn forces the ball out, which clearly knocks it forward.
Well, it depends whether they deem that to be a loose carry by the Leigh player or that Graham Horn has knocked the ball out. That's the crucial decision.
I'll change my description then. It's a loose carry. In fact, he's got it loosely in his hand, but he's knocked the ball forward.
He still touched that ball forward, yeah.
Well, Ben Cockayne is allowed to pick up the ball. He'd almost given himself up. Ben Thaler at this stage is shouting, put it down, put it down.
Put it down.
Because he puts it down, and now we'll have a look at it all, and that's what they've done.
I think if Ben Cockayne thinks that's a try, he'd have scorched over under the sticks with a bit of a
It's given, and Hull KR are going home with a win.
Goodness me.
Well, there you go.
The comeback of the season for Rovers. And Ben Cockayne with a smile. He didn't think it was going to be given. But when you look back and you watch it frame by frame, the video referees, Phil Bentham and Matt Thomason, are convinced.
And Ben Fairley's still saying to the Leigh players, well, you stole the ball, so that's play on. But I think that there's a question mark here over Graham Horn. He definitely makes contact with that ball. And when he makes contact, that ball goes forward. In my opinion, that's not a try. Whether it's a loose carry or not, Graham Horn knocks that ball forward.
It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what Paul thinks, that I think, that the Leigh supporters think. The fact of the matter is, the try has been given, and Hull KR are going to go home with the win because there isn't time for them to get back into this match because Montelato will probably add the extras. And when you think about it, Hull KR would do well to play every one of their middle-leg qualifiers on this ground because they can't win outside of Hull except here, and they've done it twice.
And with the second half performance, because they didn't look like they were going to win it after the first half, did they?
The first half was, well, they put that away and forget about it. The second half has been magnificent from them. Montelato adds the extras, 2 minutes remaining. The gap now is 10 points. Hull KR have done what no other team has done in almost 2 years and 30 attempts. They've beaten Leigh Centurions on their own ground. And who's to say this lot can't take on Leeds at Wembley and win?
Well, they've shown fighting spirit today. 24-6 at half-time is not a place in good position to be in, and again, to reiterate, their quality is sat in the stand in terms of skill and direction.
I'm only going to tackle one though, that's actually no penalty.
Just making sure that's not a serious head injury. No, they just had a collision on contact there. I'll just make me point at it. Who wouldn't want to play here? It's absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant stadium.
Do you know, that's a fabulous take, isn't it?
Isn't it,
From CO. He scored a brilliant try last week as well, didn't he?
Yes.
When he played against Warrington, took the ball up above his head, does exactly the same. He knows that there's a Leigh player that's underneath him, but his job is to catch that ball. Knew that it was going short. And what about Sam Barlow saying to the referee, just let's get on with it? He said, well, we've got one of your players down on the ground.
Well, none of my cliches are original, fellas, but this has been the game of two halves.
It has. There's no other way of describing this game, isn't it? Maybe the switch off at half-time, and that's no disrespect to Paul Rowley's team talk. I think it was more that Hull KR players were challenged by their coach. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't pat yourself on the back for what you've done last week. Just because you get into the Challenge Cup final and you're going to be playing there in a few weeks, you've got to perform, and you've got to perform today.
Two of the best young coaches in the business we've just seen there having a chat together. Paul Rowley, Chris Chester, great pals off the field as well. They were in the Halifax team that were together in the formative years of Super League, and I think Paul Rowley knows that if they're going to get back into Super League this year, it's going to take one heck of an effort, because Rovers were here for the taking today.
Yeah, they were.
The perfect storm.
They'll be disappointed, both of those coaches that you talked about as well. They played together 1998 Halifax when they finished third.
They'll know each other very, very well. It's the perfect storm, or was, for Hull Kingston Rovers. Energy-sapping victory last week in the Challenge Cup semi-final. Sheer quality and their X-factor, their genius sat in the stands. But what they've done is work out how they can play with what they've got, and they've done it very, very well. Takes a big effort, great team spirit and courage to come back from such a deficit at half-time, and it looks like Hull Kingston Rovers have done it. And one thing that might go against Leigh is when they used to play at Hilton Park, nobody ever wanted to go there. Real difficult, intimidating place to play. This is like playing at Wembley. It's absolutely superb.
Their super surface, super stadium, it deserves the Super League. Will they get there? They have lost their first home game. They have 3 remaining at home. They have 3 remaining away. The hill has just got a little steeper for Leigh Centurions. But for Hull Kingston Rovers, this is the perfect start to their bid for survival in the Super League. We are 30 seconds away from the full-time siren, and having established a 24 points to 6 half-time lead, Leigh have let it slip in the second half. It's 36-26, and Leigh are beaten on this ground for the first time in almost 2 years.
Yeah, and even though the first game is a loss, Eddie, I still fancy them to be playing in Super League next year. And you know what? When you get beat, you learn from your mistakes, and they'll do that.
Closing seconds of the match that Hull Kingston Rovers have won. Briley with the flick over the top. That's collected. The full-time siren has sounded, but Leigh have stopped, and Maurice Blair is going in. Is he? No. That's good chasing back by Mickey Hyam. That was almost Harry by Leigh in the very last seconds. There are players down all over the place. Montelato is down. There's also a Leigh player down. Coming next on Sky Sports 3, press the red buttons for this. Catalan Dragons against the Saints from the Super 8s themselves. Champions first up, match against the Dragons in Perpignan. That's next.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.